The sky did not explode. It unfolded. One moment it was a quiet afternoon stretched lazily over the colony's silver rooftops, and the next it peeled back in geometric silence, as if someone had unzipped reality with surgical precision. A dark aperture hung above the city, not burning, not roaring, simply present. From it descended a figure wrapped in something that looked less like armor and more like a living equation. The battle suit moved before she did. Segmented plates flowed over one another like liquid obsidian, veins of cold blue light pulsing in slow, authoritative rhythms. Thin spinal arcs curved from her back, adjusting to gravity fluctuations with faint magnetic snaps. The air around her distorted as localized gravitational fields recalibrated to her preference. She did not land so much as inform the ground that it now belonged to her. Citizens scattered. Drones deployed from orbit, aligning into disciplined formations. Somewhere above the clouds, warships rotated into firing positions with polite, inevitable efficiency. Inside the armor, neural pathways flared. The symbiotic machine drank from her mind, converting intention into weaponized physics. Targeting reticles bloomed across her multifaceted vision. The city became a grid of probabilities. And then she took one more step and froze. Not dramatically, not with sparks or alarms. Her leg simply remained suspended mid-stride as if the universe had pressed pause on her lower half. The luminous veins across the armor flickered, then dimmed to an uncertain glow. She issued a neural override spike. Nothing. She escalated to ancestral command protocols encoded in her species' war lineage. Still nothing. Above, invasion fleets hesitated. Thousands of combat drones hovered in mild confusion, which for machines designed for planetary eradication translated into an awkward silence. A human stood 20 meters away, holding a grocery bag that had split at the bottom. Fruit rolled across the pavement between them. He looked from the immobilized commander to the sky, then back to the commander. "Is this part of it?" He asked no one in particular. The suit ran diagnostics at blinding speed. No mechanical failure. No viral intrusion. Instead, a flagged anomaly pulsed across its inner systems. Proximate bioelectric signature, unclassified. Compatibility query initiated. The commander attempted to turn her head. The armor permitted only a fraction of movement. Her silver, faceted eyes locked onto the human. He did not appear armed. He did not appear strategic. He appeared apologetic. One of the fruits, an orange sphere, bumped gently against her armored boot. The human sighed. "I just bought those." He stepped forward. The drones above recalculated firing solutions. Orbital cannons charged softly, like distant thunder clearing its throat. "Please don't vaporize me," he muttered, more to the sky than to her. He reached out. The instant his fingers touched the gauntlet, the armor surged, not violently but curiously. Blue light rippled outward in concentric patterns. Internal matrices shifted from dominance algorithms to resonance mapping. The suit mirrored his heartbeat, adjusted to it. Inside, the commander felt something impossible. The machine was not obeying her. It was listening to him. Her suspended leg lowered gently to the ground. Weapon ports along her forearms sealed. The spinal arcs relaxed. Above the city, an entire invasion fleet paused mid-conquest. The human blinked at the glowing armor. "Oh," he said, "I guess it just needed a reboot." The silence that followed did not feel peaceful. It felt observational. The commander stood motionless but no longer frozen. Systems coursed through her awareness in cascading streams of data. The armor was not awaiting her command. It was conducting its own evaluation, and she was included in the list of variables. The human slowly withdrew his hand as if expecting a delayed explosion. None came. Instead, a faint harmonic vibration traveled through the gauntlet where he had touched it, not a warning tone but something almost inquisitive. Above them, the hovering drones shifted formation twice, then seemed to reconsider their life choices. Inside her mind, The commander attempted to reassert dominance pathways. The armor acknowledged the attempt and gently deprioritized it. New threads of processing unfolded: cross-species neural mapping, emotional waveform analysis, compatibility scoring. Compatibility. That word did not belong in invasion protocol. The human glanced upward at the suspended fleet. "Are they buffering?" he asked. The armor reacted again, energy signatures stabilizing around his voice frequency. The commander felt it. The machine was synchronizing to him not through authority but through equilibrium. His pulse steadied its power core. His erratic breathing adjusted its atmospheric calibration. She stepped forward deliberately. This time the suit obeyed, but its movements felt collaborative. The armor compensated not just for her weight and balance, but subtly for his proximity, expanding a protective field that encompassed him as well. "I did not grant you that protection," she said, her voice amplified yet modulated. The human blinked. "I didn't ask for it." "That is irrelevant." "Feels relevant." A ripple of blue light coursed across her forearms. The armor projected translucent symbols between them, rotating waveforms of his neural pattern alongside hers. Where hers spiked in sharp, aggressive peaks, his flowed in smoother oscillations. The machine began aligning them, overlaying one atop the other until interference reduced to near zero. In orbit, Fleet Command transmitted escalating queries. She felt the pings, but the armor filtered them, prioritizing the anomaly at ground level. "You are interfering with Imperial systems," she told him. "I'm just standing here," he replied. "You're the one who showed up dressed like a walking supercomputer." The armor processed his tone. Sarcasm flagged, hostility absent. Power output stabilized further. She attempted once more to initiate combat readiness. The weapon ports warmed for half a second, then cooled. The armor rerouted energy into adaptive shielding instead. It was choosing efficiency over destruction. The human squinted at the hovering holographic waveforms. "Is that mine?" "Yes." "Is it supposed to look like that?" "It appears optimal." He considered this. My school counselor said I lacked focus." A faint tremor passed through her nervous system. Not alarm, not threat, something unfamiliar and small: amusement. The armor amplified it, translating the subtle shift into measurable harmony. Their synchronized field strengthened. The drones above slowly powered down their primary cannons, uncertain but obedient to the new command hierarchy forming below. She studied him carefully. His species was catalogued as technologically primitive, biologically fragile, strategically negligible. Yet the war machine bonded to her for cycles beyond counting had recalibrated its core architecture in response to a single touch. "You are altering the empire," she said. He looked around at the paused invasion. "I was just trying to help. It looks stuck." The armor pulsed again, softer this time, as if agreeing. The fleet did not resume its assault. It recalculated. High above the city, command vessels rotated into a holding pattern, their gravitational anchors humming at a restrained frequency. Transmission bursts flooded downward in encrypted streams, demanding status reports, tactical clarifications, preferably something that did not include the phrase human interference. The commander received them all. The armor chose to answer none. Instead, it opened something older. A sealed partition in her neural interface unlocked without her authorization. Ancient code unfurled through her perception. Project files archived before her lineage had even begun its military ascendancy. The suit was not merely a weapon platform. It had once been a compatibility engine. She did not appreciate learning this in the middle of an invasion. The human shifted his weight. The protective field around them expanded automatically as a drone drifted a little too close, then reconsidered and backed away. "So," he said cautiously, "are we still at war?" She processed the question. The armor overlaid probability trees across her thoughts. Every projection that included immediate aggression resulted in destabilization of the synchronization field. Every projection that included continued proximity resulted in increased system efficiency. "We are evaluating," she answered. "That's not a no. It is not a yes." He nodded slowly. "That's fair." The armor projected another lattice of holographic data between them, this time not just neural waveforms, but historical schematics. Two pilot signatures layered into one operational architecture. The label beneath it translated loosely to mutual convergence mode. Her species had abandoned it centuries ago. It required trust parameters incompatible with dominance doctrine. The human squinted at the display. "Is that us?" "It is a theoretical configuration. Looks less theoretical right now." The suit adjusted its stance again, not in readiness to strike, but in readiness to share load distribution. She felt it compensate subtly for the human's unsteady breathing. His pulse synchronized further with the core reactor. Power output increased by 12% without strain. In orbit, a weapons platform began charging experimentally. The armor reacted before she did, flaring a warning signal that rippled upward like a silent reprimand. The charging sequence halted. The fleet had obeyed the suit. That had never happened before. "You just told your spaceships to calm down," the human observed. "I did not." "Oh, well, something did." The commander accessed the ancient archive again. Fragmented logs described species trials, civilizations tested for neural resonance rather than military resistance. Most failed, some destabilized the armor entirely. A few nearly succeeded, but none achieved stable convergence. Until now. The human rubbed the back of his neck. "If it helps, I'm not trying to conquer anything. I can barely manage my rent." The armor processed his tone. Self-deprecating humor registered as social bonding behavior. Synchronization metrics climbed another fraction. She felt the shift within herself as well. Her thoughts, once sharpened exclusively toward tactical supremacy, now split along a new axis, possibility. "You are not exhibiting fear," she said. "I am," he replied quickly. "I'm just pretending not to. It's a coping mechanism." The armor pulsed in response, harmonic, steady. It mapped the contradiction and labeled it adaptive resilience. Above them, Fleet Command transmitted a priority directive: proceed with invasion or withdraw. For the first time in her service, the decision did not feel singular. She looked at the human, at the hovering data, at the silent warships waiting for destruction to resume. "Remain," she said quietly. "Here?" he asked. "Yes." He exhaled. "Okay, but if this turns into vaporization, I'm filing a complaint." The armor shimmered softly, as if amused, and tightened the protective field around them both while the Empire waited for an answer it was no longer certain it wanted. The order to resume the invasion never came. It hovered in orbit like an awkward guest who had realized they might be at the wrong house. Fleet Command transmitted a final ultimatum, encoded in authority and impatience. Proceed with planetary subjugation. Reassert dominance. Terminate anomaly. The armor translated it for her. Then, without consulting her, it opened a channel back, not with tactical coordinates, with data. Synchronization metrics streamed upward, efficiency curves, stability indices, reactor harmonics doubling previous benchmarks. The message was simple even in its alien mathematics: conquest mode obsolete, convergence mode superior. Silence followed, a long imperial silence. The human glanced at the sky. "Are we winning?" "This is not a competition," she replied. "It definitely feels like one." Within her mind, the ancient archive continued to unlock. Records once suppressed by centuries of militaristic doctrine now stood undeniable. The war machine had never been meant solely for destruction. It had been a bridge, waiting for a neural counterpart that balanced command with empathy. Her species had searched for strength. It had required equilibrium. She felt the change within herself most clearly when she attempted one last time to trigger a weapons array. The impulse rose automatically, reflex born of lifelong training. The armor did not reject her. It simply offered an alternative projection, One where fleets withdrew, where resources were exchanged instead of extracted, where dominance was replaced by adaptation. For the first time, she did not override it. Above, the largest warship powered down its cannons. One by one, others followed, their gravitational anchors releasing with low harmonic sighs. The invasion formation loosened, then shifted into retreat alignment. The human blinked. They're leaving. Yes, that's good, right? Yes. He exhaled so dramatically that the armor adjusted the local air pressure to compensate. Okay. Great, because I had no backup plan. You were the plan, she said before considering the implications. He stared at her luminous gaze. No pressure then. The armor initiated a final protocol. Mutual pilot mode stabilized. It no longer required physical contact. Their neural patterns remained aligned at a sustainable distance. The protective field softened but did not vanish. Fleet Command transmitted one final query: status of planetary objective. She answered herself this time. Objective redefined, she said. No rebellion followed.